Hello and welcome to Healthy, Fit, and Pain Free Pittsburgh. I'm your host, Ryan Wade, joined, as always, by Dr. Tyler Bordick.
Hello, beautiful people.
Hello, beautiful people. And that will be the last thing that you think that we said nicely to you today, because today we are going to dive into the realm and kind of call some people out. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's somebody like you or around you. Maybe, we're just going to call out some of the inconsistencies, we'll call them, in this episode today. And so you may very well get off this podcast listening experience today and say that you never want to listen to us again. And I'd be fine with that, because that means that something resonated with what we said. Yeah?
And if you listen to this and you're like, I don't know what they mean, it's probably because it is you.
Probably, yeah. You might, as they say, you might be the problem.
Yeah, you might be the problem.
Right. So, but what we're talking about today is the excuses, how do I want to say it? The justifications. Yes, the justifications that we have for putting our dollars, and I always say that we vote with our dollars, right? Putting our dollars into things that are not advancing your life goals, right? Your lifestyle, the things that you really truly want. If you're not familiar with the things that you really truly want in life, go back into the Discover Your Why episode, and this is the kind of things that we're talking about. So for the young grandma out there that has trouble reaching her arms over her head and can't pick her grandchild up over her head and see the smile coming down from the sky, right? For the mother, right, who can't get down on her knees on the floor and play with her kids, right? These are the things that really mean stuff in our lives. And the reason we're so passionate about this topic is because we meet with so many women over the course of every single month who come in and we just simply say, hey, just, tell me what's going on. And immediately tears. Immediately tears. And it's because they've been voting with their dollars into their illness and not into their wellness, because it's hiding the things that we want, the ugly truth, right? The ogre onion that we talked about in the Why episode. They're the things that we cover up the ogre onion with, right? And so today we want to start to talk about some of the things that are most often correlated with this concept of investing in your illness and not your wellness. And let me start you off with a story, Doc, okay?
Story time.
Start me off with a story. So I was consulting with a woman, and it was over the phone, right? And we had just gotten done talking for 45 minutes, let's say. It was thereabout, right? About all the things that she can't do, about how she's pre-diabetic, about how she can't feel her foot half the time, walks with a limp, can't get down on her knees, right? And has about 150 pounds to lose. And when it came to the point of the investment in the program, and let me just be very clear with everybody that's listening to this story, we are not a $10 Planet Fitness membership. We're not a $25 or $40 LA Fitness membership. We're not a $150 Burn Boot Camp, Barry's Boot Camp, EFTFX, DPT, whatever acronym boot camp that you want to give it, right?
You have like 15 letters left. So.
Yeah, right. All right. It's to join a program that encompasses all elements of a healthy lifestyle: pain reduction, stress management, sleep management, pain management, strength gain, balance, weight loss, right?
Support.
It is indeed an investment, right? And so, but going back to the story, this lady had just told me all these reasons why she is essentially in her 50s, mid 50s, and feels like she's dying, right? And so to me as a coach, I want to help this person. However, when it came to the investment time and just giving her a roundabout, because of course, with these kind of customized programs, we can't kind of put the nail on the head until we kind of get everything figured out, right? But tells me that she can't do it. But as she's doing that, couldn't take the time to tell me that she couldn't do it because she was ordering at Wendy's, okay? And asking for the triple cheeseburger and the extra ranch, right? And the large Coke, right? And I simply said, I'm just going to use the name Diane. I don't know if that was her name or not, because it was about a year ago. I said, Diane, how many times a week do you invest in Wendy's, right? and she hung up on me. All right. Which means I struck the chord and that she was still thinking about it when we were done. Right. So like I said, if you want to get off this episode and realize that you don't ever want to listen to us again, maybe you should double think that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so this is just an example of one of the ways that people choose to invest in things that they think make their lives easier. But what's really going to make your life easier is investing in the one body that you have. Mm-hmm. Doc, what say you?
No, I'm just gonna agree with that. So like a good for instance with this is like cars. I always like to use this example with people. You know, if you go and let's say you have to go get your car inspected and you have to it's not hard to drop $300+ whenever you go to get your car worked on or get your oil change or something like that because there's always something that needs done. People will drop that in a second. But as soon as it comes to buying the right food, buying supplementation, buying getting surrounded by a group of supportive people who are going to help you, people tend to think twice before doing that, and I'm not necessarily sure why. And it's funny, I don't want to pick on a specific group of people here, but you mention that to people, they're like, well, of course I need my car to get around. But these are also the same people that at one point would be like, well, back whenever I was young, we walked everywhere we went. Well, that's because you were still able to walk everywhere you went. Mm-hmm. Now you can't. Now you need that car.
Also, just about any car will get you where you want to go.
Sure, yeah.
Depending on how far the drive is and whether you're trekking through snow, right? These are the variables that come into capacity. But I love the stories like the books that talk about like the undercover millionaires, right? The ones who have like the rusted out car and like it's 2021 and they have the iPhone 3 and right, it's like, or the Millionaire Next Door, I believe is the book that I'm talking about, right? And it's these people that realize the true power of investment, right? Because they're the ones who are investing in their health and their education, right? And putting their wealth to work for them and making their money work for them so that they don't have to work as hard, right? That's what makes life easier.
Well, so like here's an example for me. So, and again, we're going to go to the car example now. Full disclosure, it's none of my business how you spend your money. I don't frankly care how you spend your money because, different people, they, enjoy and, different things. But for instance, I had a patient one time, this was a few years ago, who she pulls up to the place, and she pulls up in a brand new Mercedes SUV. Mm-hmm. Like this thing sparkled, beautiful. Opens up the door, and it took her 25 minutes to get into the clinic because she couldn't walk. She couldn't get out of her car. She couldn't walk. And she wasn't old. She was in her late 60s, maybe early 70s, but she wasn't old. Even with me helping her, it took her that long to get into the clinic.
Yep.
And so we came down to it. The insurance she had, didn't take us, as I always tell people. And, she was going to have to pay out of pocket if she wanted our services. You know what she told me? No.
Not worth it.
Yeah, not worth it. And then it took her another 25 minutes to get back out into her vehicle, to which, again, I helped her. And she almost fell. And to where I really started pinpointing to her, okay, I get it. I get that you want to use your insurance. However, you literally this is where you are right now. Mm-hmm. And she realized it. And she did decide to start paying for it. Mm-hmm. But it took that realization, getting in and out of her Mercedes, that she needed to start investing in her health.
Sure. So the 50 minutes it took her to get in and out of the building, she could have had that 50 minutes working towards being able to walk again, right? And how many times does that woman get in and out of her car on a daily basis, right? So it's not just the dollars that you're investing, right? Like we're investing money, we're investing time, we're investing energy and emotion, right? All these things. So sure. So let's break down the total investment of that getting in and out of the car, right? So we had 25 minutes getting out of the car and into the building, right? Let's just leave it at that 25 minutes. How frustrating do you think it is for that person to need assistance walking into the building, right? Don't we all want independence, right? And then she came in and went through the whole thing and do you think that maybe she was frustrated that her insurance didn't cover it? Something that should be considering her health, right? It wasn't covering it. Well, we know that that's a fallacy, right? Because insurance, all they care about is getting their dollars where they can get their dollars and screwing over everybody else in the process.
Deep breath in.
Right? And so, after she had made that decision, right, she was really okay with being so frustrated that she couldn't make it to her car. And it took her almost falling to say that, okay, my time, energy, frustration, and dollars now are worth it. Right? And it sounds crazy. And you may be listening to this and saying like, oh, of course, Doc, you're a PT and Ryan, you're a fitness professional. Of course you want me to spend my money on my health. Well, okay, well, we're also people, like, you don't get into these fields without caring like a lot about people.
Yeah.
Right? And caring a lot about the way that people live their lives. And it's sure, it's frustrating to us. I'm not going to deny that fact that people will choose to, spend $300 to $500 a week on going out to eat.
Yeah.
Right? And alcohol. And,
the list goes
on, right? I mean,
but even like, you might not be a smoker, but even like something like cigarettes, like all of that stuff, sure, like for instance, let's go alcohol. So let's say you buy a case of beer a week. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what, like that, let's say $25 now if you're...
For a cheap beer.
Yeah, for a cheap beer.
I think if you're buying a case of beer a week, well, I don't know. Maybe you are buying a cheap beer.
But still, you figure that's $100 a month.
$25 to $70 a week. Somewhere in that range,
if someone like me, it's going to be 40. So let's call it 30. So, that's $120 a month. And that's not including if you go out to eat or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's $120 a month that you're spending just on alcohol.
Well, this is a fun exercise. Let's keep going.
And typically, people, I enjoy a drink, every now and then. But a lot of people, they drink. We talk to people all the time, like Ryan said, that they say, well, I like that glass of wine because it's just what calms me down at the end of this day. Well, I can tell you one thing. We have 8 people every hour come in here, and they feel great after having a workout, and they don't need alcohol. Now, I'm not saying I don't enjoy one, but still. And that's not even counting. There's 120 there. And then if you go out to eat, and you add a few other alcoholic beverages, that's an extra 100. So there's $220 a month just on alcohol.
Schwari. Doc, Schwari. But let's go down this. Let's go down this because so let's say that lady, going back to the lady with the Mercedes, right? Yeah. The beautiful $90,000 car, whatever it is, right? It took her being able to fall or almost falling to realize that she needed to put her money into somewhere else other than something that promotes social status, right? Okay, we see a lot of these types of examples, right? And it may not be the car, maybe the jewelry and the shoes and the outfits or whatever, right? But yet we also have people on the complete other side of the spectrum, right? Sure. Who honestly, have every reasonable excuse not to vote with their dollars to make it happen because they can't pay their bills otherwise, right? But yet these people, some of these people will come to us and say like, can you help me figure it out? Right? And so when we get down to it, like, what does this exercise look like? Okay, well, you go to Starbucks 4 days a week, $5 a drink, right? Okay. All right. That's 20. Yeah. Poor math.
That's not if you buy anyone a drink at your office either. So.
Right. Okay, so 20 times 4, 80.
Yeah.
Okay, we're a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, or more. You go out to eat. Between fast food and maybe the nice one on Friday, right? We're looking at
$20 to $200.
So yeah, let's put a conservative cap on it and say 100. Okay, now we're at 180.
Yeah.
All right. Well, got a couple programs that fall in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you had alcohol.
Right.
Really, you had alcohol. That's $400 a month.
That's the $25 a case being super crappy conservative dollars, right? Times 4, that's 100 plus $10 for a glass of wine when you go out on that Friday times 4 Fridays, 40 plus your significant other, 80. We're at 400 already.
Yeah.
Or thereabout, right? Like.
And that's just alcohol, Starbucks.
That's just food and drink.
Yeah.
Right? And that's not even going into jewelry, entertainment, your 16 streaming services, plus your ultra cable package, right? Like, and these things that are just so, and your new iPhone every time that it comes out or whatever, right? Like, these are just some of the things that we think are necessary, but we're so addicted to not being bored, right? That when it comes down to it, like, what are all these things doing? They're putting us in a worse position because now we think that we can't go out and exercise and invest in our health, right? Now, you can also, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, right? Right? Doc,
buckle up, people.
Buckle up. Let's dive into the world of insurance. Here we go. I just popped the top. Be careful.
And that's the other thing too. People and even that, like insurance, but like benefits. Like people, like they'll sign on to a job because of benefits, because of stuff like that, and they'll always say, well, I know I have good insurance. Do you now? Tell me about your good insurance. What does your good insurance get you? Because I've seen a lot of people tell me they have a good insurance and they have a $75 copay. My wife and I have decent insurance through my wife, and I went to someone the other day and they said, you have a $2,000 deductible. Is that good insurance? Because I'm going to be paying out of pocket now for that service until I reach $2,000. So is that really a benefit? I think not. And that's if you have good insurance. There's some people that their insurance will tell them, no, we are not paying for that. So now you have to pay out of pocket for it. And all because you wanted good insurance. Mm-hmm. Because you're relying on, and this is the problem, that we're relying on somebody else to make the decision for us. And this is where, we need to invest. We need to be, we're all grown-ups here. We need to, buckle our belts, stand tall, and actually figure out what we need to invest our dollars in rather than somebody else telling us so. Rather than sitting there and watching a commercial that has a Chick-fil-A sandwich on it, and then you realize that you need to go have that sandwich. How about instead of sitting there watching, the media the streaming service you're paying for, while you're ordering that pizza that you're paying for, and all that other crap, how about you actually invest in something that's going to do something for you?
Yeah, and advance your life. Like so let's say you took that money that we just broke down. Let's say it's that $400 that we broke down in that budgeting exercise, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say it's that. And you put it towards your health, and it took you, 2 months to see some kind of result where you're feeling better, your pain's down, your energy's higher, mm-hmm. right? What are all the things that you can do now to go out and retrieve the time, emotion, energy, and money investment that you made? You can do, I'd argue that you can do a lot of things to make it worth it, right? Even if it's not just simply getting the result.
Mm-hmm. Or, let's flip this around. So let's say you don't. Let's say after this you're like, Ryan, Tyler, you go to hell. Cool. All right. And then you go and you just keep investing in your illness. And eventually you wind up in that hospital bed. Mm-hmm. And then that quote-unquote good insurance that you have sends you a bill that you have to pay this much of your $20,000 hospital visit.
Yeah.
Where's that money at now? You're not able to pay for it? I'm glad you invested in everything that got you there.
And that's why we're talking about investing in your illness and not your wellness, because when we vote with our dollars, we vote to either invest in making our lives easier, more fulfilling, more fun, more free, more independent, or we're investing in putting those dollars into a white coat pocket, mm-hmm. right? Because that's where it's going to end up being, right? If you don't invest in making your body well, the one body that you have, you need to pay somebody to make it better with a magic trick or a knife.
Yeah, or a pharmaceutical company.
Or a pharmaceutical company, right? And so let's say okay, well, let's put in this example, I pay to go to Planet Fitness, right? $10 a month, Planet Fitness. It doesn't take much for me to invest in my health, right? Well, I would... the reason that LA Fitness is cheap is because they're worried about getting every person under the sun into their facility. And not only that, But when you're trying to figure out how to use a machine, right? How to work through the crowds of every single person, how to do all these things. The LA Fitnesses, the Planet Fitnesses are actually, and you may be shocked to recognize this, that they're designed to actually get you to sign up and not show up. So when that gym membership becomes a gym donation, right? You're no longer investing in yourself because you got the satisfaction of saying that, oh, I did something.
Yeah.
Right. But it was too difficult for me to figure out. And I didn't get any guidance and they fed me pizza on Tuesdays and, which is an actual thing that does happen if you've never been in a Planet Fitness. But let's take it another step further. Right. Let's say you're right in our wheelhouse of the ladies that we work with. Right. And I got my silver sneakers benefits. Right. Okay. Awesome. You ready for this one? All right. So you may be shocked to recognize that with those quote unquote benefits that come with your insurance plan that get you silver sneakers, that your insurance is paying out a grand total per class that you take of $3 to the gym that's putting on that session, right? To the gym, not to the trainer that's doing the session, right? So let's say the trainer is even working with 20 people. Yeah. Right? Well, that's a great level of service, right? Not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the gym made $60. What do you think the trainer gets? A third?
Yeah.
They get $15 maybe?
Yeah.
Right?
And we're talking like you have 20 people.
How much trust should you put in your health in a $15 an hour trainer?
Yeah.
Right? That's working with 20 other, they're getting paid $15 to work with 20 people. They're not even getting $1 a person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's not, and let's be honest, like even the person not getting paid, let's be honest, like this is someone who did a weekend certification who is just doing training to do training. This isn't someone who's actually devoted to you and your health. They show up, like you might find those diamond in the roughs that like actually do care about you and want to converse to you after class.
They won't be there long, I promise you.
Yeah, they won't be there long because they'll find something that does value.
They'll find somebody that values them for sure. So, when we are, again, making these decisions, okay, to make the investment in yourself, something that, admittedly grinds my gears, right? And I told you that we were going to be ranting a bit in this episode, so you can't say I didn't warn you. Showing a whole new side to us, yeah?
It's called passion.
Right, but when you go, and let's say you do say after this episode, like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go do it, right? I'm going to go put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to go invest in my health, right? If you walk into a place, right, and you ask the question, what's the price? And they give you the answer, please run as far away as you possibly can, right? Because do they know anything about you?
Yeah.
Do they know your situation? Right? Does the place work with lots of different people? Because that means that they are just cookie cutter, one way to do one thing, and we're not going to do it any other way. And if you need a different way, then, well, that's too bad because we told you this is how much it is.
So let's go back to the car example because we like to use this one. So have you, if you're listening out there, have you ever called a car dealership and said, I have $7,000, find me a car when I show up, I'll give you the $7,000 and then leave.
I promise you they have a $7,000 car.
I promise you they have a $7,000 car that has $15,000 of things that need to be done to it.
Yeah.
But no, you're not going to do that because that would be stupid. It would be stupid to show up and drive a car off the lot that you don't know what it does or what condition it is and just pay your $7,000. So why the first thing you do is you call a place and you ask them how much it's going to cost. Because, and I get that. It's a trap. It's a trap that we all fall into because there's all these prices online. There's all these prices on commercials.
We get it. We know that everyone out there is afraid of making a mistake financially. Yeah. Like we've all been there. We've all made the mistake financially. Mm-hmm. We're conditioned to do this. However, please take the information that we're saying here and really consider that it's fact, right? And that it's truth. Because, there are places, plug, right? There are places that will take the time to sit down with you, listen to not only your goals, but the limitations that you have, the things that you know trigger you to fall into downward spirals, the things that you know have worked and have not worked for you before in the past, that will do everything in their power to create this successful environment and an accountability system for you to not fall into the same traps that you had before, that will try to drive you towards getting away of just the fact of that you want to lose your spare tire, and try to get you to realize a deeper motivation of that spare tire that you want to get rid of really signals that your health is in a downward spiral and you're getting closer and closer to the white coat, right? And will create a plan for you, with you alongside, so that you know that you're comfortable with it, that covers every single one of those areas exactly the way that you need it. Not the other 100,000 people that work with that company need it, right? There are places, again, plug. Right? That will take the time and listen to you and create the program that you need for your body, because you are a unique individual unlike any other person. And you've learned that since the time you were little. But the way that we are conditioned through making mistakes with our dollars in the past is to put up our guard and say, how much is this? Okay. And if somebody tells you how much it is, again, I guarantee you they have that $7,000 car that needs $15,000 of worth of work. Or if, say, you're going into, I'm not going to say the full name, the OT, like an OTF, right? That has the lights and the orange splats and all that stuff, right? If you walk into one of those places and they say, oh, it's $165, right? And you're 65 years old and you're working out next to a 17-year-old and a 24-year-old and a 36-year-old, all of which you don't have kids, right? And a 45-year-old who runs marathons, and you're somebody who needs to lose 75 pounds and has a bad knee, maybe it won't work the same for you.
Yeah, and you know, and like Ryan said, it actually listens to you, but also, God forbid, watches you move. Like, if you go to a place that you want to join and they don't even watch you move to customize it to what you need. I mean, we talk to people all the time that they tell us, like, oh, I have this bad knee, I have this bad hip, I have back pain, whatever it might be. We actually watch them move to see, is there actually a lot of times people come in here and they're like, I have this hip and this back problem. We watch them move, correct one thing, boom.
Whole new world.
Goes away.
Whole new world. And all it takes is somebody giving a damn.
Yeah.
Right? All it takes is somebody giving a damn and not being run by a corporation with unlimited deep pockets who doesn't train their people. They just train their people to watch and talk into a microphone. Right? Like, that's...
It's like going to Walmart or going to your mom and pop grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different experience.
Absolutely. So, and not just the experience, but the experience that's going to be right for you. So, I think we are done ranting. I think we could do it all day. Believe me, we could do it all day. But I think that the point has been proven. Maybe you want to come up with some better questions than what's the price whenever you go into thinking about investing in your health. Maybe you should analyze what kind of things, what's the life you want to see in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? And are your habits that you're creating today financially supporting that dream, right? Or are they getting you further and further away from the dream? Because not only are you getting further and further away from the dream, but when you realize that you've hit the point of no return, you're going to have to throw a lot of money that you don't have at that point into a white coat pocket, and rely on major health systems to try to foot the bill, and they're just going to throw it right back in your face. We all know stories of how that's happened to people, and that's what we're here to fight against, right? We're fighting the good fight. We're not saying we're going to win it, right? Hopefully we do. That would be cool. But we're right now we're a small army facing much larger armies.
For me, like, I want to finish off. So I'm currently reading a book right now called Atomic Habits, and the one thing you mentioned in there is that the things that feel good now have bad consequences later. The things that don't feel good now have good consequences later. And as being a parent too, and if you're a parent out there, there's always that moment where you're talking to your kid and your kid like tramples off because they're pissed at you, and the words go through your mind like, they're gonna thank me later. It doesn't feel good to them now, but they're gonna thank me later. And that's really what this is about. It might not feel good to hear this now. It might not feel good to, change your eating habits. It might not feel good to start walking more, to work out more, to make some lifestyle changes, but you'll thank us later.
Yeah. So, well, you may, if you stuck it out to this point, good on you. Round of applause. If you've had your middle finger stuck up for the last 20 minutes, I completely understand. I'll give you a hug next time I see you, right? But again, that probably means that you got something to look at. So, in any case, Healthy, Fit, and Pain Free Pittsburgh is brought to you by, of course, Inner Strength Physio Fitness Athletics, where me and Doc do some great work with our wonderful team of caring, professional, trusted trainers and physical therapists. And as well, we are brought to you by Case Pacific Nutrition, our sister company in the good fight, right? The sister company who is there to promote nutritional, healthy lifestyle, help you kind of get out of these mindset triggers that kind of work with your beliefs about food, right? With your beliefs about food. And we know that that's a huge obstacle to overcome. So if you've got some food relationship things that you'd like to tackle, we know a guy and a girl. Yeah. All right. So with that said, Doc, well done, sir. You kept your composure. I'm proud of you. Stay healthy, fit, and pain-free, Pittsburgh.
Love you.